49er faithful, 500 never felt so good. The San Francisco 49ers just wrapped up a fantastic, freaking complete victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's exactly what you wanted to see coming out of a very emotional game against LA. You wanted to see the 49ers come out quickly, not get behind, not come out sluggish with the travel, the East Coast start, the 10 o'clock game, and they got the victory. 49er faithful, here we are at 508 games in front of us with the season still in reach, ladies and gentlemen. The season is still in reach. Luke Luna with the super sticker coming in early. I love it. I am loving it. Jason smoked them 30-10. It was beautiful. Karthik, good to see you back. Fantastic. I am freaking pumped as well. Beautiful game, beautiful outcome. The 49ers are right back in it, and it appears that there are scores going the 49ers' way. I'm going to attempt to call them as they come in. Right now, we have a tie game between the Packers and the Vikings. Right now, the Saints are down 2 scores to the Eagles, but with the ball. Washington football team is up 24-21 over the Panthers. Things will change today, and as of right now, they are setting up in the 49ers' favor. Keep it going, boys. Yes, indeed. Luke Luna, what? Yes, that was a fantastic victory. I have to put it up, even though it's cursing. Good shit. Yes, indeed, Nathan. We're keeping it PG-13, though. PG-13. Don't get angry with me. Ron Shipman, thank you. The jacket brought good luck today. Got the Jerry jersey on, the 98 Jerry jersey that was a gift to me from my brother, Bill. Shout out to my brother. Jason wondering what is up with the Bills. They aren't playing very well at all. No, and we're going to need their help against the Saints on Thanksgiving, right? We're going to want them to knock off New Orleans. Yes, we are. Luke Walsh coming in. Hello, how you doing? Word. That was a great win. It was a fantastic win indeed. All right, Chester saying, I knew when my beanie hat showed up right before kickoff, it was a good sign. Yes, got in the residency SF beanie. That is critical. Nathan Dickey running the ball. Run that ball. Getting Trey Sermon snaps. Jeff Wilson Jr. running with aggression. How about Jeff Wilson Jr. with the tape on the top of his helmet coming off from that early dominant hit? That was beautiful. It set the tone. I almost wish he didn't change the helmet at halftime because it sent a message of just how hard he was running. It was fantastic. I love to see it. Smooth trucking coming in, Niner faithful. Raw, bang, bang, Niner gang. Javier got the win. The 49ers come out victorious. Great win, faithful from Stovey 4x4ing. Yes, indeed. We are back in the win column yet again, Karthik. Yet again. We sit at 500, ladies and gentlemen. The San Francisco 49ers no longer have a losing record, and we get to come home and play the Minnesota Vikings next week. God, that's going to be exciting. Let's stay in victory mode today. Adam Power, need Green Bay and Washington to win today. Yeah, we got to have some of these scores go our way. Pick by Green Bay. Goodness gracious, that was a couple of minutes ago. Let me get back over to the scores and see what's going on here on ESPN. Packers, Vikings. I still have the Vikings with the ball on ESPN, but man, I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, there's still a pick waiting to update. Texans over the Titans. Some odd things going on in the NFL. The Ravens coming back over the Bears. That's a good thing. The Colts just blowing out the Bills. Really, the Bills are struggling a bit, looking like they need to get their identity back themselves. Dolphins over Jets. Saints still trying to come back. 4th and 10 at the Philadelphia 13. down 2 scores with 8 minutes remaining. This is a big down field goal. Good. So it's still a 2-score, 2-possession game in Philadelphia. Right now, Eagles are leading. Washington football team with the ball. Man, Cam Newton, I'm telling you, he's providing a spark for that Carolina team. But let's get back to our 49ers. I want to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Let me get some of your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you thought about this victory. Greg Thames, good game. What do I think? I thought it was fantastic. I thought we did what we needed to do. We came out, we ran the ball, time of possession. I mean, that was, according to ESPN statistics, the longest drive to start the game in the past 20 years. Longest drive to start the game in the past 20 years in the NFL, not just for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, it only ended in 3 points, and that could have been demoralizing, but I thought that was a good call with the way in which this game could have turned out as a close one. But doubting that Jacksonville has firepower, I think 3 was more important than being aggressive early and going for it. So I was okay with that. I would have been all right with them going for it there as well. It was a toss-up for me. But they played this game extremely efficiently. That's fantastic. Here we go. Luke Luna saying, Green Bay interception, and it's tied. We need the Vikings to lose. Yes, we do. A fantastic win. A fantastic, clean game with very few penalties, very few turnovers, no turnovers, very few penalties. A beautiful game indeed. Man, I am still watching this. I'm not liking what I'm seeing with the Vikings against the Packers here. That's unfortunate. Looks like with 90 seconds left, the Vikings are down in Green Bay territory within field goal range. But still liking what we're seeing from the Washington football team as they get to the 2-minute warning. Very exciting stuff going on here. The pick got reversed. That is why we're not seeing that. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate the update there. All right. Submit is upset. Those crybabies begging for Lance to play. Now satisfied. Thank God. I am glad he got in there. Glad he got a chance to run it there on that 3rd down. I think I would have rather seen a throw there, but I understand the more conservative approach to that. It makes sense. Karthik, yes, the ball bounces very funny ways within the NFL. It is absolutely something that you cannot predict. Karthik, the Bills have lost their identity since the Jags game. They got knocked out. Indeed. Nathan, a different energy coming out. Much different energy for the 49ers. The 49ers do seem to have regained some swag, people. That is important for the first way in which they for the way in which they attempt to win games, for the way in which they approach it with complementary football, trying to run it down people's throats, coming out with an energy. Jeff Wilson Jr., that dark passenger, that dark energy, that dark space that he goes to. Again, more of the Niners players got to find that inner fire, because when they come out firing on all cylinders, it really is a big difference. 2 games in a row. I know people will say that potentially this was just a beat-up Jaguars team, and it is, and it was. But you can't tell me that you're not feeling different about this San Francisco 49ers team than you were 3 weeks ago. They proved something against Los Angeles, and they emphasized that point today with the way in which they won. A W's a W. All I needed this weekend was a W from the 49ers. But to come out and make the statement game that they did is just wonderful. Sean says it well here. The last 2 weeks were picture perfect. Enough said. Jimmy did what he needed to do. O-line played great. Very few penalties. Identity. Yes, the identity of this team is emerging, isn't it, people? It is emerging. Swift Dog 49er. Positive question. As a faithful, are you ready to say with me, at least a playoff contender? Go Niners. 1,000%. The 49ers have every chance to be in the driver's seat of making the playoffs from here on out, meaning that they will control their own destiny. Next week's game, and every week we'll be saying this, next week's game is critical, Niner faithful. Bobby McGee, great game. Defense really stepped up. Jimmy G was in his bag today. Yes, he was. I know a lot of people got upset with the early miscue on the Jeff Wilson miss by Jimmy Garoppolo, and agree. That was an awkward miscue, and it's unfortunate. And against better competition, we still cannot afford those types of misses. So I'm glad that it came in a game where the 49ers had significant control throughout. Karthik, looks like Jimmy is now going to be the QB of the future. Hey, he's staying in. As long as he's looking this good, let's all support that. Niner Sickness, what's up, my man? Hey, Rob, and the faithful. And Mike, let's go. Ikes, maybe the Vikes, likes, whatever it is. Uh-oh. Vikings driving it. Vikings are driving. That's okay. The 49ers still will play Minnesota next week, regardless of what the Packers are able to do. And remember, Stovey points it out, Rodgers only needs 30 seconds. Don't remember why he only needs 30 seconds, but remember that he can do a lot with 30 seconds. Patrick Johnson, keep pounding defenses like that. They got tired, and we can do that to elite teams as well. Run the ball. Patrick, great call out. Running the ball, even when it's not super effective. Even when, as against the Rams, your yards per carry may not be dominant, continue to run the ball. Yes, indeed, indeed. And Mike, I'm not sure why anyone would say this. Playoffs is the worst thing for this team. The playoffs to me matter. I guess I get someone who says that one and done in the playoffs is nothing, but I disagree. I may understand the frustration that leads to that, but making the playoffs in the NFL is no small feat. This team has only done it 4 times out of the last 20 years. You just are not going to be able to convince me that making the playoffs is an empty result for this team. It is positive. It is momentum. It is changing this to a winning freaking culture. Let's get away from losing. Let's get away from losing mentality. Let's move over to winning, huh, faithful? Pop Belly's Ornaments, Jimmy was good again. Not a Jimmy G guy, but you got to give him props. He's playing very good football right now. That's the kind of comment I like, where you can acknowledge, hey, I'm not a Jimmy G supporter in general. I may be more in favor of moving to the rookie, but I'm going to take this time to acknowledge when a 49er quarterback is playing extremely well, and we're getting the W's that matter. Jamie Bryant, Deebo, Bosa, Aiyuk, what a hell of a game. Offense, defense, special teams worked on all cylinders. Time management, great Jimmy. I give an A+. He got the ball out to all receivers. Great game, well played. It felt like a breakout game again for Brandon Aiyuk. It really did. Nathan Dickey calling out the communication on the field looks better. The defense seems clean. Fewer blown coverages. Now, I know that people will say this is against the Jaguars team, and that is 1,000% the truth. This is a less than ideal opponent, but you can only play the teams they put in front of you. That is what people need to recall. Again, we are celebrating a big win here on the channel. The San Francisco 49ers taking this one 30-10 as we celebrate this victory. Let's look to see any updated scores within the league. It does appear the Eagles have the ball. They are still up 11 with 4 minutes remaining. That's a big one to knock the Saints off. Washington up 6. Panthers with the ball, needing a touchdown to win it. That also is a big result. Vikings, unfortunately, taking the game against Green Bay. We will have the same record as the Minnesota Vikings, heading home to play the Minnesota Vikings next week. Again, all about the San Francisco 49ers controlling their destiny. That is an important factor going forward. Karthik, I agree. I don't care if it's the Jags. A win is a win. A dub is a dub. Joe Mama, Rob, say what you want about Norman, but I think he might lead the league in forced fumbles. That peanut punch is no joke. It is no joke. He does lead the league in forced fumbles, and I am glad that Kyle Shanahan is not as reactionary as I am when I said I would have cut him after that exchange with Cliff Kingsbury. I am glad that the 49ers stuck with that man because you cannot underestimate the difference that peanut punch is making. Those forced fumbles are fantastic, Niner faithful. Fantastic. 3 games in a row with a touchdown for Kittle. James Brown is in the house calling it out. I love it. I love it. Stovey 4x4ing, rest in peace, Green Bay. Could Green Bay's season go off the wheels? Was Aaron Rodgers' call out and the aftermath of that weird enough to derail a really positive season with a very talented team? I don't think so, but one can hope. It wouldn't be the end of the world if Green Bay dropped off the map from here on out. Again, I'm not predicting it, but I would celebrate it, wouldn't you? Adam Power, he does lead the league in forced fumbles. Yes, that is confirmation, and I concur. It was said in the broadcast. He is leading the league in forced fumbles. Karthik, great job getting Sermon Sunday involved. We got our Sunday sermon. Yes, we did. We got that Sunday sermon. I want to see what the box score is. I'm calling this up. I'll get back to the scores in a minute. Excuse me. Jimmy Garoppolo, 16 of 22, 176 yards, 8-yard average, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did take the 2 sacks, but covered up the football each of those times. A very efficient day from Jimmy Garoppolo. Efficiency is the name of the game. If he can evolve into a more efficient game manager style of quarterback with his quick release, it sets up very nicely to complement Kyle Shanahan's offensive system and the yak-based system that we execute. Deebo Samuel, another 8 carries for 79 yards, only 1 catch for 15. Not helping my fantasy day, but that touchdown is a big difference. Deebo's just a monster. Just a monster. 19 carries for Jeff Wilson, 10 carries for Trey Sermon, double-digit Sermon carries. I was so wrong. I put the over-under at 7.5, 8.5. Most people, I think, were smashing that under for Trey Sermon. He gets the over because the game plays out in such a fashion that the 49ers rack up those runs, 42 rushing attempts. 2 weeks in a row that the San Francisco 49ers have gone more than 40 rushing attempts. That is amazing. Amazing. I see in the comments not liking Trey Sermon's average. Hey, the average wasn't great for Wilson or Sermon. 2.6 for Jeff Wilson Jr., 3.2 for Sermon, but look at what they were running into. The important piece is that they continued to pound the rock. That is what we needed. Absolutely needed to establish that this team won't get away from the run. Andre, yes, run, and more run. Absolutely. Jamie Bryant asking, how do I feel about the W? I'll tell you, I'm riding this win today till the wheels fall off. Thank you, Jamie. I am not hesitating to celebrate this win. This win is big, 49er faithful. This win is now a freaking pattern. This win is now momentum. It is the 49ers continuing to fight back into this season such that it is not over, such that the 49ers may end up controlling their own destiny after today, that they may actually sit in one of the remaining wild card spots. All right, Sean coming in. The last 2 games and the 2019 playoffs prove we can win with defense and mistake-free football. Lance will be fun to watch next year, but Jimmy has earned his spot. Great on 3rd downs. I have to agree with Sean here. Everything we're seeing right now is evidencing this was the team Kyle and John envisioned at the beginning of the year. This is why they felt they could run with Jimmy G this season. This is the team that I anticipated would be on the field this year. It took them 8 weeks to get there. They needed to round into form, but here they are. Can they keep this amazing momentum going forward? Lycan in the house. Deebo and Aiyuk played lights out today. Yes, they did. The young wide receiver tandem with Jawan Jennings in there. The flexibility he gives you in run blocking, the big body. I love Jawan Jennings as the third wide receiver. Let me emphasize that fact. Chester Gray, Jimmy TD passes were good throws, but I hate that he missed that wide open player. Yes, when he missed Jeff Wilson Jr. early in the game, were this a more stout opponent, a more stout team that we were going up against, that might make the difference in that game. So that's a key play that you have to think will come up in film review. You have to think. Here we go. Luke asking the question, wondering if Wilson was supposed to be continuing the drag route on that goal line incompletion. I wondered the same, but it did seem he was running at a fairly consistent rate of speed, that he would have needed to really show some burst in order to get to that. You could maybe assign split blame there, but I think Jimmy just missed him. And it happens, right? Unfortunately, happens a little bit more frequently with Jimmy than we want to be. Karthik is excited. We are a Super Bowl contender. Hey, I am not joking. We can definitely. I love the optimism. I can't get my expectations back there yet. I couldn't take it if I built my expectations to that point and then they were dashed against the rocks again. But my hopes are sky high. And I don't think it's unreasonable to hope that the 49ers can turn this thing into a deep playoff run. Yes, indeed. Nathan Dickey, I would have loved it if Trent Williams had gotten that pass. Don't you think? That would have been spectacular. It looked spectacular. Adam Power feels the same way. That he says it did look like Wilson had quit running on that miss to me. That wasn't all Jimmy's fault, just my opinion. I'll have to go back and rewatch that for sure. Sean Dunn, whoever thinks playoffs are bad for us is not a fan. We have no first-round pick. No team in the NFL wants to see us in the playoffs. We're a dangerous team to face. Dominant clock and run game. I am all on board with pushing for the 49ers to make the playoffs and say that it has significance no matter what. Nick from the Mo, wish Deebo hit 1,000 yards. Yeah, with only one catch for 15, he did stay short of his 1,000-yard receiving season. We'll just have to get that next week against Minnesota. Karthik, Kyle Shanahan's clock management at the end of the second quarter was horrendous, but he made up for it at the end of the quarter with that field goal and the Sermon conversion. Great call. I was okay with the slightly casual approach to that, needing to get that first down before you were aggressive. I thought that was an appropriate conservative moment there. Karthik, yes, next week is a home game against Minnesota, traveling back home, playing at Levi's against the Minnesota Vikings. Eric, this is what we were expecting in Detroit and Philly, although we did win those games. It did not feel like the dominating wins they should have been like this one. This team is just now rounding into form, if you ask me. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, Andre, great all-around team effort. Makes for great viewing. Happy days are here again. Good to see Sermon get some action. Good to have games where my stress level is low. That's what I love. When you have a dominating win and you don't need to be fretting on the edge of your seat. Because let's be honest, the 49ers have put me in a bit of PTSD from this season. I am just now coming out of it. Just now with my head above water at 500. My positivity is ever present, but my nerves, as a result of these close games, can be frayed indeed. Frayed indeed. Javier, does anybody know if Mitchell will be back for the Vikings game? I think that there is a very high likelihood that Mitchell is back for the Vikings game. The reason I say that is he had a chance to play this week. I don't think the 49ers were just hamming that up to create a smokescreen. I think he had a chance to go this week. So my hope would be that he will get into practice. We should know early whether he's full go in practice or limited. And then we'll have a better idea of next week. You would hope he's back against Minnesota. That is a needed game. Potbelly's Ornaments. It's crazy that Deebo is both our best receiver and our best running back. That dude is crazy good. Did you hear the announcer was like, Deebo Samuel carries the ball and catches the ball? It was so fun. I mean, it was like the most random statement around just the fact that, yeah, he catches it and he runs it. Yes, he does. He does it extremely effectively as well. That is a fact. Karthik, Green Bay is that one team in the NFL which does everything right until the NFC Championship game and then screws it up as always. Washington just won. Let's get back to these scores and see what is going on with the 49ers standings here. Washington just beat the Carolina Panthers. That is big because the Carolina Panthers are in that race and the 49ers don't play them. They control their own destiny against Minnesota. So if a team was to win this week, great. Let it be the Vikings because the 49ers needed to beat them next week regardless of whether they won or lost to Green Bay today. So that is a very positive update with Washington football team beating the Carolina Panthers. Big time win for the 49ers. The Eagles now up 40-29 on the Saints with 45 seconds to go. That also is big. That will shape up. Let's see how this playoff race is going. According to NFL.com, the NFL playoff picture is updating for me. We've got Arizona Cardinals sitting in the 1 seed, Dallas Cowboys at the 2, Packers at the 3, Buccaneers at the 4, Rams at the 5, Saints at the 6, Vikings at the 7. I think these still need to update because I think the 49ers fly into that spot because they still have the Saints at 5 and 4, and I believe that's going to update in 45 seconds of game time to 5 and 5, and the 49ers might just be in the driving spot for that playoff spot. That is exciting, 49ers. Leo coming in. Hell yeah, baby. Congrats, Faithful. Wash your hands. Elbow cough. Wash hands. Love it. Faithful. Thomas Luttrell. With Deebo playing like an MVP, Kittle healthy, and Aiyuk officially out of the doghouse and loose and running, no excuse for Jimmy to fail. Let's go, Niners. Yes, Panthers get the L. Jared is correct there. Adam Power, Sermon, and Wilson both lack patience and vision. I'm sorry, y'all. That's why he used Deebo so much in the run game. Deebo is literally the third best back on this team behind Mostert and Mitchell. I think you're spot on about being the third best back on the team behind Mostert and Mitchell. Sermon and Wilson both lacking patience and vision. I'm going to give Wilson the benefit of the doubt from what I saw last season and in years past that he has it, but may still be rounding into form on coming back from that knee injury in the preseason. All right, getting into it. Oh, Jared, calling it out. Yes, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the positivity, if you like coming into a 49ers space where it is generally the faithful, and I'm trying to see things from a glass half full perspective, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it honest. I'm going to criticize a team when I see fit. But if you like that, subscribe, like it, hit the little bell so you know when I go live. Yes, indeed. Look at that. Swift Dog, Texans beating the Titans. Wow. The ball bounces funny in the NFL, and parity is alive and well. Chester, hopefully we get Mitchell back so we don't have to run Deebo so much. Yes, we need Deebo catching passes because I'm in mostly PPR leagues for fantasy football, and I have Deebo in every league because I went heavy on Deebo Samuel because I kind of knew he was going to have 1,000-yard season. No idea he was going to be this elite. I have to acknowledge that. All right, I got to try to catch up a little bit in the comments. If I end up skipping anything from you that you want to bring back, please copy and paste it. I absolutely will bring it back. Leo, let's cool it with that Jimmy reversal, folks. B+ quarterback, and none of us have those fuzzy feelings that we won't see bad Jimmy again. Go Niners. Let's cool it with that Jimmy reversal, folks. B-plus quarterback, and none of us have those fuzzy feelings that we won't. I guess that's right, that we still think that he may have, a bad game in him, but I'm just thrilled by the consistency. The consistency. Karthik, asking about Greenlaw not starting. I don't believe he did. I need to check on how many snaps he may have seen, if he did, but no, I do not believe that he was out there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. All right, Leo, one more win like this, and I'm letting my postseason hopes loose. Yes, my postseason hopes are alive and well and probably never left. Sean, something happened to Kyle a week ago. York or Father Shanny lit a fire in him and his aggression. The team has bought in the 40-plus run games. Most important is we're finishing drives with points. Yes, we are. The 49ers are putting points on the board, playing complementary football, not turning the ball over, forcing turnovers. For the love of God, it is sweet to be a Niner faithful once again. Karthik, you and me both. Score prediction was very close. I said 34-17 49ers, Karthik says. Mine was not as close. Mine was, I think, 34-21. So I had the Jags scoring 4 more points than you did, and it turns out they scored 7 less than you were predicting. The defense was out there. Bosa, 10 sacks on the season. Double-digit sack season for Nick Bosa, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this, hypnotic Niners fan living in Minneapolis. Next week, gonna be on. Yes, indeed, it will. Adam Power agrees with me on Jawan Jennings. Jennings was phenomenal on that play, in my opinion. Great discipline. Yes, where he got the swing on him and he managed to hold his cool. Amazing. That's hard to do in the middle of that action. All right, James Brown. I'm not 100% a Jimmy fan, but that pass to Wilson was only out of reach because Jimmy had 2 hands in the air to throw around. Niners win, Niners for life. That's interesting, too. I haven't seen that throw from multiple angles. The all-22 may give us a different opinion of just how wide that window was open for the pass. Sean, the only thing that will detail is this year is injury. Derail this year is injuries. If we stay healthy and keep the train rolling on the ground, then we'll be the 2007 Giants. I mean, I never want to be the New York Giants just because they've broken my heart. But yes, we have the potential to roll, Sean. I love the optimism. I love it. Leo seeing the same thing on that Jeff Wilson Jr. pass. I'll look forward to that all 22 angle. No question. Nathan complimenting the coach. Kyle coached a textbook game. Gotta love it. I love it. You love it. We all love it. Don't forget about D'Amico Ryans. He also had a great play calling game. Yes, he did. All right, Emmanuel. I saw this a lot on 49ers Twitter. I think that a fair percentage of 49ers faithful wanted to see a shift in who was in the game at that time. So let's read out Emmanuel's thought here. The fourth quarter should have been Trey Lance time. I don't want to hear anyone next year complaining Trey is not ready. Y'all know who to blame. Emmanuel, that's a reasonable take, but there's also the side of it that I want to explore a little bit, which is, let's say on the defensive side of the ball. We'll start there and then we'll get to your point around Lance. On the defensive side of the ball, there was a point in the fourth where you could have made a very strong argument to pull Bosa, to pull some of your stars, and to just focus on getting out of this thing healthy. You're up by, I believe it was 24 for most of the fourth quarter. A sizable lead, right? 3 touchdowns with 3 2-point conversions from tying it up with very little time remaining. So you could have said that. But it's in these blowout games where star players get their multiple sack performances, get their stats, and earn their money. Nick Bosa, I'm sure, is thrilled that he got to play as much as he did in the fourth quarter because that's where he racked up his sacks, and that's going to get him paid. And I can guarantee one thing about Nick Bosa. He plays to get paid. That man saw his brother get that contract. I guarantee you he wants his bag. And that's how you get dominant statistical seasons. You have to beat up on lesser competition in the NFL. So that, I would say, you got to balance that. You have to balance when the players should come out versus holding on to legitimate leads, not letting teams get back into it, not allowing them to get momentum, and allowing your stars to rack up some statistics in these blowout type of games. The same is true for Jimmy on the other side of the ball, getting him a few more completions, putting him in there. Let's just acknowledge that the 49ers did Jimmy dirty in the offseason, right? If you were going to keep him. They really, really told everyone, we don't trust Jimmy. We don't think we can win with Jimmy. We've got to move on from him in a major way. They flirted with every quarterback prospect out there. They traded up in the draft, gave up a lot to do it. And I understand fans wanting Trey to get ready. I do too. But you have to build Jimmy's confidence back up. This season still absolutely matters at this point, and you cannot convince me otherwise. My energy is playoff or bust at this point. Yes, indeed. Karthik, Deebo surprisingly fast. Well, he lost some bulk during the offseason, so it makes sense, which I thought was a great idea by him. Yes, and increased his flexibility with greater focus on yoga, and that seems to be helping him with those muscles. Josue, playoff time. It is relevant to be talking about the playoffs. Sean Doon, next week it's Jimmy G against Jimmy G. Cousins. Kyle versus Kyle, LOL. Biggest game of the year. Statement game. This will change the narrative in the NFL and the media. Nathan, seeing what I'm seeing. Jawan Jennings played great today. He has a physical style to his game. Great in run blocking. Seems to have sure hands. A little bit reminiscent of what you imagine Jalen Hurd being within this offense, that Jawan Jennings could really grow into that role, lay claim to that third wide receiver spot, and allow Trent Sherfield to stay as the gunner who continues that muff fumble coming up with it. Trent Sherfield, big time. Got to call out Sherfield for that, being aware on the field. Potbelly's ornaments. There is a good chance that Derrick Henry will be out versus the 49ers. That makes that game a possible toss-up, despite the short week. They don't look very good without him. They have struggled every week in the NFL. Every week for the 49ers will be critical going forward. Gerson, game plan against Skull Nation does not change. Run the ball down their throat. That has to be the game plan, 49er faithful. Ellis 10, Kyle sealed the deal. He didn't give up the big lead. Not even close. He kept his foot on their necks. Yes, he did. Gerardo coming in. There is no doubt. Despite the win, Jimmy G is a QB with many flaws. His skill set are very limited. Little mobility, weak arm, no ability to react to blitz, etc., etc. I think that's a little overly critical, Gerardo. I agree he's not a complete, not an elite quarterback. He's in that second tier, I believe. That second tier that, is the 10 to 20 range of the NFL quarterback that is capable of winning games, capable of winning you games at times, but not consistently. He's not always going to be the reason for the win, and he will be the reason for the loss sometimes. But if Jimmy G continues this efficiency, I have to disagree that he doesn't have the arm to make the needed throws. I think he absolutely does. And he puts little darts in the middle of the field. He's not great outside the numbers, down the field. I don't think there's much debate about that. But otherwise, go look at his last 3 games. Statistically, very, very clean. Ellis, is that 2 statement wins? Why, yes, Ellis. Yes, it is. 2 statement wins in a row. Back-to-back statement wins. Emmanuel, Kittle, 3rd game in a row with a touchdown. Longest career streak. That's incredible, thinking of how George has been our go-to guy for at least 2 seasons. That's so true. And just to point out, he had never had back-to-back games with touchdowns. Last week was the first time in his career that he ever had back-to-back games, and now he follows it up by getting his third game in a row with a touchdown. How about we keep that going next frickin' week? Gerson, Bosa was a beast out there. They held him ass loads of times. Yes, we can say ass on this show. That's PG-13, I believe. Sean, 49ers 31-13, the early prediction for next week. I love it. I love it. Oh, Adam, I missed this pregame. They didn't activate Greenlaw this week. Probably be next week for him. Thank you for calling that out, Adam. I wouldn't have noticed that until later this afternoon as I'm reading through the coverage. Was getting ready for the pregame. The early morning show for me was rough, right? You know, I with everything going on currently for me in my life, I had a rough night of sleep last night. And so I got up a little groggy and needed to shake it off. Needed to perform, needed to be here for the faithful. Karthik, we should have given Sermon more carries, not Deebo. And did Deebo wear that Niner helmet? Yes, 49er faithful want Sermon to get more carries. I'm glad he got 10. I have to be grateful. Jamie, Rob Shoe, love the gold jacket. Looks like gold. It is solid gold. Gold thread. It's pure gold. It's worth approximately $64,000. Anyone that wants to purchase it from me can do so at that price. But I might turn down the offer. It's too valuable at this point in the season with the good mojo. Gerardo coming in, the $1 million question. What the hell was Kyle Shanahan thinking at the beginning of the season? Why didn't he start using these plays from the beginning? Great question, Gerardo. And the answer is, I can't tell you where this was. I don't think Kyle had his mojo to start this year as a play caller. His play design was still fine, but he wasn't calling them in an effective fashion. He got away from his identity. Whether it was a conversation with his father, someone in the organization, or just an epiphany he had on his own, he got back to the 49ers identity, and he is in his bag right now. All right. Javier, Kittle, Deebo, Aiyuk, Mitchell with a good Jimmy? Oh, yes. This offense has potential. Nathan, I love how we manage them penalties these last two games. Yes, efficient games. Efficient. Ellis 10. Kyle is showing he can keep the lead and not blow the game. Also, Jimmy G with those inside slant passes. Win, win, win. Deebo Samuel. The Don. Love the win, but we have to beat the Vikes next week to prove that we're back. Yes, week to week, this is important stuff. Emmanuel Bosa's back to being a cheat code. It just ain't fair. Karthik, Fred Warner and Aziz were also great against the run. Yes, hitting, thumping. Every time Fred Warner was flying at the ball, did you see that peanut punch? He is looking for the turnover. So glad he got that fumble recovery. Man, Fred Warner needs some big plays to get him fired up. Winning is a mentality. He needs the small wins so that he can get that confidence back and start playing at his 2020 form. Deebo, MVP. I agree, Ellis 10. MVP of the damn NFL, if you ask me. Victor Mendoza. Rob, as the season goes on, do you believe Brandon Aiyuk will continue to get better? It's looking that way right now. From what we're seeing of his performance and rounding back into form, making contested catches, eluding tacklers in the open field, you're seeing what you saw in flashes from Brandon last year, and that's a very exciting prospect considering how dominant Deebo has been. Gerson, if the Niners play like this, they can beat anyone. Let's go, faithful. That's the attitude. I love it. T-Day. Is that Trey Day? Because we saw Trey. We saw both Treys. Ellis. The flags kept the 49ers moving in the first half. It feels good to be on the other side. LOL. Yeah. Let's not, let's not pretend that there weren't a few things that went the 49ers' way. And that's okay. There were a lot of things that went against the 49ers earlier in the season. That's the way the NFL works. You've got to take these victories as they come. You can only play the team that they put in front of you. That is the way you do it. Harold, agree. Great 49ers win today. really complete game. Sam, no sound. I think it might be on your end because it's the first time I'm seeing it. I apologize that you're not getting the goodness, though. Yes, indeed. All right, Karthik, I'm not an expert, but on that rollout pass missed to Wilson, I think Jimmy's momentum was moving to his right with his feet as well and couldn't turn the ball back inside where Jeff Wilson actually was. Again, that's one I really want to see on the all-22. Ellis is rolling in the dough. Look at this. Look at this. Ellis, I won $100 betting on my Niners. That's the best won money when it is 49er winnings. Matt, that was a layup, bro. No excuses on that one. Have to agree there. You want that one back? I'm sure Jimmy wants that one back. Harold, call into the faithful. Make your Pro Bowl selections. Please choose the 49ers. Go Niners. Yes, Pro Bowl selections and voting are open. Faithful. Let the 49ers players, especially Deebo, know that you care. And retweet, send his ass to the Pro Bowl. Damn it. Adam Power, Bosa needs to get his bag. LOL, whatever he wants. Blank check. Best player on our defense, hands down. One of the best freaking defensive ends in the league. Tops in the league. Nathan, Trey Sermon wasn't bad. I'm on board with you, Nathan. I know we read a comment earlier that someone felt he played poorly today. I didn't see that. I get what you're saying with the vision. He still is hesitant in his running style. And in the Kyle Shanahan offense, running backs should not be hesitant. They should be one step, go. And that means hit the hole hard, right? Even if it's a very precise running game, it's fair to now say that is part of what he's struggling with because Elijah Mitchell is lights out at it. So next week against the Vikings, that's critical to watch. Will Elijah Mitchell be back? All right, Ronald Williams. Here we go. In 2 weeks, we've gone from the NFL joke to the team no one wants to see. Let's go get this. Let's go get this. Yeah. All right. Yes, the 49ers did Jimmy dirty, but it wasn't because of his play. It was his availability. He was even out of a game this year due to injury. He's good, not great. Inside slants and flats. That's an accurate assessment, Ellis. I think that, yes, the 49ers did him dirty by flirting with every single quarterback out there. I vary a little bit in that I think Kyle was, yes, clearly not pleased with his lack of availability, but I think also not pleased with his limitations and his mistakes. Because he is not a big shot play quarterback, he makes a lot of mistakes that he can't overcome because he's not a chunk play type of a quarterback. So I do think there's some frustration there by Kyle. Javier's got rumors. I heard a rumor that Kyle's father took his Nintendo Switch away until the season is over. No wonder he's so focused now. Edward, hey Rob, 49ers talking about the playoffs. 7th seed. All right, I'm looking back at the playoff picture. Let me refresh the NFL's page to see what is happening here. Oh my goodness, people. You know who's sitting in the 6th seed of the playoffs right now? The San Francisco 49ers. That's who. The 6th seed, tied with the Saints and the Vikings, but right now sitting in it, rising up right below the 49ers. It says 49ers rising up. Yes, indeed. The playoffs are alive and well in our hopes. 49ers, keep those hopes and that optimism alive. Harold, chemistry in the 49ers locker room is improving and getting stronger. 49ers players are playing for each other and getting better at the right time. Go Niners. All you got to do is have a chip in a chair. You just got to get into the dance. Then it's anybody's game at that point. Anybody's game. Jason, Niners big time win. Let's go. Chester, Jimmy has played 4 straight clean games. I would disagree with taking foot off the gas. Detroit game will scare Kyle from taking his foot off the gas and playing starters. So the point there Chester's saying is that the Detroit game was a learning experience. He took his foot off the gas and it didn't cost them the victory. Important takeaway from that. Karthik, Fred Warner versus Eric Kendricks next week. Great ballers, both of them. Yes, indeed. Sean, the fact you see all 11 playing hard on both runs and pass is a great sign. Team. When we get a lead, the defense plays at a different level. Yes, and when we're not turning the ball over, when they know when they're going to go back on the field, they play much, much better. Yes, indeed, people. All right, Daniel coming in. What's up, Daniel? Deebo is not going to be in the top 5 of receiving leaders. That sucks. Oh, man, yeah, people are going to get up on him. But a lot of those guys that are above him haven't had their buys yet, right? So you never know. I mean, he'll get some big games going down the stretch. Plus, let's not pretend that Deebo's rushing yards don't count. Those other guys, they ain't got Deebo's rushing yards. Get out of here, top receivers. You ain't contributing in the run game the way Deebo Samuel is. Come on now. Come on now. Oh, we got a super chat. Melanie Tacto coming in. Dalvin will meet a wall next week. Love the donation. Thank you for that. Love the prediction. Run into that wall, Dalvin. I mean, Dalvin Cook is a very talented runner, but this 49ers defense is reinvigorated. Potentially with more reinforcements arriving, Dre Greenlaw coming in the game. I still think against an elite rushing threat like Dalvin Cook that you're probably leaning towards Alshire next week as well. He's still looking impressive out there. No question. All right, James Brown got a question that he's wondering people aren't talking about it. Why is nobody talking about that play called to Trent Williams in the end zone? I don't know how I feel about it, but I like the footballs to dig in the playbook. Yes, I appreciate the gumption that it takes in order to call that play for Trent Williams. I really wish that he had been able to pull that in. I mean, come on, Trent. Like, you're elite. We need more separation against the defenders there. No, I mean, big man in the end zone, big man TD celebrations are the best. Those are absolutely the best. I hope we get another attempt at it. It didn't look like a highly successful play from the outset. I mean, Trent Williams in double coverage. I know he's elite, but that's a tough catch as a big man with 2 defenders right on you like that. But man, just you could tell that the 49ers were enjoying themselves out there. And that's important, people, to get back to the love of the game. In 2019, the 49ers looked like a happy football team. They looked like a group of men that enjoyed playing for one another. And that's so important in a game where you're putting your physical health on the line every single play. Ellis 10. Next week will be 24-21 49ers. Kyle will have googly eyes looking at Cousins and get distracted. Yes, there is a love affair that has gone on for years there. All right. Gojira Von Jinx says the run game is grinding. Wilson would love to average 3 yards per carry. Sermon needs more carries. Yes, although I do hope that Elijah Mitchell is back next week. Can we hope for that, people? Sean Dunn. Shire needs to be opposite of Bosa. Greenlaw gets his spot back. Speed side to side for screens and quarterback rollouts will change the game. Shire has earned it. Greenlaw deserves his job back. That would be interesting. I love the idea of getting your most talented players on the field. It does seem that we're getting something from Arden Key now, but some of those pressures appear to be coming from playing the D tackle spot when they're moving him inside, much like they do with Armstead. So I agree. We are still in need of that bookend D end. Emmanuel, love that jacket. Too bad I couldn't buy a similar one when I was at my first game 3 years ago versus Denver. This one is the chalk line. This is older than my Jerry. This is a 98 jersey here that my brother gave to me. I did buy this one vintage, but this is an 80s chalk line jacket, the original, the best. Still got the gold in the pockets. That's, again, why the price tag is $64,000 in case you're making offers on the jacket. But I turned them all down. It's priceless to me. Victor Mendoza, if the 49ers can get a win over the Vikings next week, Rob, do you believe the 49ers can make a strong push for the playoffs? 1,000%, Victor. I believe. Next week is paramount. Every week, next week is paramount. On to Minnesota at home. At home at Levi's, where we have won recently. All right, Jordan, coming in here. It was great the Saints and Panthers lost, but the Vikings looked really good. I don't think we have a corner who can lock up Justin Jefferson. I don't either. It will be about disturbing Kirk Cousins. You must, much like getting to Jimmy Garoppolo, disturbing Kirk Cousins, in particular, if you can get a strong interior pass rush and get in his face, push the line back into his face, collapse the pocket, that will be critical. And holding Dalvin Cook. If you can contain Dalvin Cook and get some pressure on Kirk Cousins, look out. But it will need to be a complementary game. The offense must carry their weight as they have been. Karthik, it was just great to see you and Grant go back and forth on Twitter. Grant, what the hell is Kyle thinking, Rob? Hell yeah, Deebo. I didn't even see that. I was too wrapped up in my own positivity. I just was feeling it. Let's keep it going, Rob. What's up? Good game. Robert Pacheco, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Ellis, I had Aiyuk and Wilson Jr. in my DraftKings lineup. Win-win. Win-win. Those are value picks indeed. Sean, coming in. If we keep the long drives in our future games and shorten the possessions for the other team, by default, we'll win every game. We can only beat us. Staying away from sloppy games, staying away from penalties, staying ahead in the down and distance is the recipe for success for the San Francisco 49ers. Have to keep it going. Emmanuel, if Deebo doesn't get to the Pro Bowl, we can all come to the conclusion Pro Bowl is the stupidest thing in the NFL. That's a fact. Deebo is a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, maybe even the NFL MVP, if you asked me. Ellis calling for hitting the like and subscribe, family. I appreciate that call out, Ellis. If you like the content, subscribing, commenting it below the videos, liking them, hitting the bell, all those things help promote my signal, and I greatly appreciate it. For those of you that enjoy the content, Niner faith. Deebo! Yes, indeed. We got a hater. We got a hater. Y'all still suck. He said. Hey, man, you know, entitled to your opinion. Karthik, Bosa is better than his brother. Woo, fighting words for the Bosa boys. Niner faith. Pack your bags, Deebo. You're going to the Pro Bowl. Yes, sir. Indeed. Oh, look at this. This is good stats. Stat head. Nicoya's finest. Interesting 49er stats. 0 penalties, 0 turnovers, good tackling, and discipline on the defensive side. I'll take it. I will take it too. Here we go. Ellis. The crowd in the stadium looked 50-50 Niners fans, Jags fans, home away from home. The faithful traveled today. If you were at the game, God bless you. I love the fact that the faithful showed out in force in Jacksonville. Need that support. The team needs our love. They haven't quit on this season. That's why we don't quit on this season. Harold Bosa never quits. Speaking of people who don't quit, Bosa. Go 49ers. Emmanuel, did Bosa get one more sack than his rookie season today? Yes, he beat his rookie sack numbers. He now has 10 on the season. Double-digit sacks for Bosa with 8 games to go. 8 games still remaining. Indeed. Harold saying Aiyuk was great today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Steve-O Supremo, I see that comment. I can't throw it up, though. That's a shot at a guy I'd consider to be a friend. Indeed. Nathan Dickey, Jaguars were getting injured left and right. Hard hitting out there. Yeah, I don't like to see injuries, but man, I do love to see a physical football game, and unfortunately, injuries are an end result of that. A physical, dominant football team by the 49ers. Jamie, hell yeah, 6th seed, rise up. Indeed, if you didn't hear me earlier, the 49ers officially, according to the playoff picture for NFL.com, when it comes to the playoff picture, right after the Rams. Ooh, they have updated that. I'm not liking that update that has Vikings, Saints, 49ers. I think I heard that the Niners would be in that spot. I'm not liking that move on NFL.com. They've changed the rankings. I'll have to wait until it's more official. Wait until it's more official. All right. Tabular Bike says, off topic, but feels great to have Jonathan Taylor in fantasy. Yes. How about that? I've been preaching about John Taylor being elite since the mid to late 80s. Let me tell you, John Taylor, love him. Rob, do you? We can win out. Yes, indeed. Paul points out, it's more fun when they win. It really is. Steve-O Supremo, yeah, that was a full-on hit a man in the face with his helmet off. On replay, it looked like it could have been an open hand punch, which is like, you're about to get suspended for an open hand punch? That seems kind of foolish. But yeah, Steve-O says, hope that dude gets a 4-game suspension for that punch. Adam Power, need that Vikings dub next week to really keep us in the playoff picture. 100%. 100% it goes without, well, you need to say it. You need to say it. Every week, every game really, really counts. Eric coming in a proud sneakerhead. Deebo, 79 yards rushing and a touchdown. Running back one. Karthik, Deebo's more versatile, unlike other wide receivers in this league. He is so versatile. So versatile. At Rob Shue, Arizona versus Seattle playing right now. Who do you want to win? I say Arizona only because we need that wild card. Yeah, I just can't root for Seattle. I think the team I dislike the most. I don't like to use the word hate. I used to use it about the Dallas Cowboys, but I've let go of hatred there. I just don't have enough time in my life to spend hating things. I don't need to drag negativity in. And so I dislike Seattle. I don't know how I got off on that tangent, needing to explain my difference between dislike and hate. I'm sure you're like, I didn't ask that, Rob. I asked you, who do you want to win? I think I'm with you that Arizona. Could they tie? Could they both lose? No, they can't. They could tie, though, and maybe that would be the best outcome for the 49ers. A tie? Maybe? Otherwise, I'm with you, Arizona. Luke Luna, if Aziz is healthy. Is there any question about that? Please put it in there if there is. I hope not. I really hope not. Tabular calling out Dallas looking awful. I will celebrate that. I will. I don't mean to be petty, but yeah, sometimes you got to be. Javier, really think we need to punk the Vikings hard and first. I agree. Punch them in the mouth right when you come out. You cannot start slow against the Vikings. They are a dangerous, if inconsistent team. I think we know teams like that, 49er faithful. Karthik, Trent Williams almost got it. He tried his best, and that is all that matters. That shows the energy right there. Get your vert up, Trent. No, I'm joking. Yeah, apparently, Trent doesn't have the dunking ability that maybe a Kittle or Brandon Aiyuk might have. Marketing Pro, Panthers loss, move 49ers up. I thought so too, but right now I'm looking at it and they updated it again. They had updated it first. So I'm going to wait and see. Somebody will clearly define this in the afternoon as to where the playoff picture officially sits right now. If you know it officially as to how the tiebreakers would go, not that it matters. We play Minnesota next week. Let's focus on that. Let's not get caught up in whether we are in the 6th or 7th seed right now, which we should be. But on winning next week. Marketing, I appreciate that. Cool mid-'80s vintage jacket. So I was at the Saints game in 2019, and I sat in a great section with some great Saints fans. Talk about quality fans who are just good, celebratory people. That was an elite game, back and forth, over and over again. I made friends with a couple guys that were the season ticket holders next to me. Just great Louisiana folk cheering on the Saints, very good-natured. But one of them got angry toward the end of the game. I mean, irritated, not angry. We were very friendly throughout. And as something happened, he grabbed a jacket to shake it a little bit. And that was when I went from being completely friendly to like, hey, pal, like, there's a line you don't cross, and it's the jacket. You touch that again, we've got an issue. I don't want to miss the end of this game, and I'm not much of a fighter, but touch the jacket again. No, I'm kidding. It's probably not on for me. I may have given him a tongue lashing had he done it again, but I like to keep a cool head. All right, Marketing Pro. Don't look now, but the 49ers are looking like a team that's healthy, and a lot of teams don't want to see that. No, they don't. Nobody wants to come up against a surging 49ers team if we can sneak into those playoffs. Ellis, I'm proud to see that the 49ers defense recognized the screens and executed in this game. They are learning from their mistakes from the Cardinals game moving forward. The defense was great. Did you see Marcel Harris dart through and make that tackle? He was on a line to the ball. Amazing. Amazing. Zombie Land in the chat. As a Jimmy GQ naysayer, he looked good today. Didn't he? Karthik, great job chewing up the clock. Great job. Dizza Scraps, likes up. Throw them likes in there. Love it. Love it. Okay, look at this. Marketing Pro with the stats. I love stats. Last 4 games, Jimmy G, 106 quarterback rating. 29 and 12. 29 and 12. Is that 29 and 12? Is that his overall record? Overall record, I'm guessing. Dizza Scraps, what does that make y'all? If we, should have read that one. Tart had a PI. He did, but the occasional PI happens, and he's just rounding back into form. It will be curious to see as the season progresses. Tart's only on a 1-year deal, an expiring deal. Hufanga has flashed a lot of things. You could see a transition starting to happen if you're preparing Hufanga to play next season and let Tart go. I do love the veteran presence. I love Tart's ability to play in the box and make critical hits on defense and really thump down there at the line of scrimmage. But I also understand the playmaking ability of Hufanga and his nose for the football. Zombieland, Bosa, 10 sacks? Wow, he's overshoots so much. He should have 20 if he stayed put more. I think it's that aggression that gets him to the quarterback a lot too, though. So that could be, something you could argue about. All right, Sean coming in. Our fans travel well because that is where they have seen all the wins this last 2 years. LOL. We do travel very well. Helps the offense a lot. Yes, it does indeed. Here we go. Adam talking about Arden Key. Arden Key has gotten better. I think he's gotten like 3 sacks and 5 hurries over the last 3 games or so. Not a Samson Ebukam fan. I hope for more from Samson, but have to agree, Arden Key is flashing some stuff. Flashing it. Vegeta coming in. Vikings win today. Big game next week. Real big game. And then the compliments, appreciate it. Nice jacket, nice win, nice podcast. You the man, Rob. Hey, you the man for being here. All of you are the men and the women that I appreciate in the Niner faithful. Karthik, no 49ers players got injured this week. Hell yeah. Hell yes. That is something to be celebrated no matter what team it is, no matter what game, but especially when it's our San Francisco 49ers that come out healthy. Ellis, thank you. Ellis says, thank you for the viewer interaction, Rob. Thank you for being here in the chat and making it interesting to celebrate a victory with the fellow faithful. Emmanuel calling out that Arizona currently sitting up 7-0. Emmanuel also pointing out on my topic of hate versus dislike, Emmanuel says, I for sure use the word hate for Seattle and Dallas. I think a lot of faithful probably do. I may be in the minority there. Eric, Vikings have a better conference record. Saints have a larger point differential. Therefore, we are currently 8th for now. Too many games left. What matters is what happens going forward. We win. We're good. Thank you, Eric, for the clarification of why we may be sitting in 8th right now. And that does matter because the 49ers control that destiny. Yes, indeed. All right. Oh, Nick is in. Nick from across the pond. Evening all. Bit late to show. Cracking result today. Another must-win game against Vikings next week. Good to see you, Nick. Couldn't agree more. Next week is critical. We'll be saying that until the end of the season. Okay, here we go. Eric, a clarification. Sorry. Common opponent record. Saints 2-1 versus Packers, Eagles, Seahawks were 1-2. That explains it. That does explain it. That explains why we are sitting where we are. Karthik calling out, great job by Bosa not jumping for the screens 2 weeks in a row. Defense was solid today. So solid. Victor Mendoza, 49ers are starting to gain confidence on both sides of the ball. Rob, do you think this newfound confidence can carry on for the remainder of the season? Great question. Remainder of the season could be more optimistic than I can even be. I think you have to consider that there will be some emotional letdown. The question is, can they win those games where there is an emotional letdown anyway? I think in general, my answer to this is yes. Hell yes. They have found their identity. I think they can keep their identity. And I guess your question is about their confidence. Yes, I think they can keep their confidence. Do I think they can keep this level of performance each week, week in, week out? That one is up for debate. Whether the 49ers will drop one that they shouldn't or have a tough matchup, that could be coming. But man, I'm focused on next week. I'm focused on the freaking Vikings. Indeed. Chester points it out. Vikings, a real opponent. Kirk Cousins is balling. Kirk Cousins versus Jimmy G, just as everyone thought. Just as everyone thought. Chip off the old block. I think a first time in. The UK loves the 49ers. The 49ers love the international fans. Yes, they do. MILF Hunter in the building with a donation. Jimmy, best quarterback rating in the NFL last 4 games. Can we please celebrate Jimmy and the efficiency he is playing with? No, he hasn't changed his stripes. Yes, he is still Jimmy G that has some limitations, but he's playing within those limitations and excelling on the field in spite of them. Perhaps he and Kyle have found a groove where they're working around it. Man, something to be excited about. ULK, also another first, I believe. Brazil loves the Niners as well. Welcome, Brazil. Welcome, England. Welcome all. Steve-O with the 49th like again. Steve-O's just waiting. And as soon as it hits 48, he's like, yeah, I got that 49th. And then we'll let it chill there for a minute. Don't let it pile on after that. Keep it at the 49. But then once it gets past, just keep liking. All right, Adam in here. I wouldn't root for Seattle if they were the last team in the NFL. I can't stand Seattle. I won't ever let those Legion of Boom years go. I couldn't even forgive Sherman when he was here. LOL. Hashtag petty. Adam, I love the honesty there. I love it. Chester, as a child, I had the gold jacket, of course. I grew out of it. I wish I kept it for the memories. Yes, indeed. That would be epic to have in your man cave, wherever you keep your Niners memorabilia. Emmanuel, coming into this game, Jimmy G had the highest quarterback rating in the NFL since week 8. Still, I want Trey. Jimmy's a good game manager, but his lack of availability made him not the future. I still believe Trey needs the snaps because I still believe there's the risk of Jimmy getting hurt. But right now, he is playing beautifully. Mr. Nobody, looks like Jimmy's stock is going up. The plan is working. You could actually get a draft pick for him. Isn't that crazy? At the end of the season, Karthik. Hey, Kyle really started Ambry Thomas over Trey Lance. Hey, but I'm fine with that move. Ambry Thomas got into the game before Trey Lance. Hey, there are tackles by Ambry Thomas. Indeed. Emmanuel points out he's overpaid just to be a game manager. These last 4 games, he's been more than that. But yes, he is definitely overpaid. Rodrigo, sharp picture. What kind of camera are you using? Thank you, Rodrigo. Appreciate that. It is a mirrorless Sony A7C, and I freaking love it. Love my autofocus. You all know I love the autofocus. I can't get enough of the autofocus. I overuse the autofocus. Sean with a big-time donation. I appreciate it, Sean. Rob, you're a great asset to the fan base. Appreciate your time each week. Here's $20 to grab a victory beer or 2 on me. With that said, Kittle is playing elite again in run game and pass. Compton and Brunskill, sneaky good. Sean, this one's to you. I appreciate that donation. I appreciate that purchase. I will certainly enjoy myself. And I have to agree, Kittle in space, Kittle and Juice, just watch them in motion. Watch them come around and make those sealing blocks on the edge. When you are moving at full speed and able to connect on those blocks, amazing. And then, yes, Kittle in the pass game looking great, and Jimmy doing a better job of keeping the throws down. I'm not seeing the same hospital balls. How about you, Sean? Nasser coming in, watching you in class. Thanks for the entertainment, Rob. Yes, hey, pay attention to the teacher, right? Actually celebrate the Niners, probably more important. All right, Karthik, the fans have been coming back into Levi's. Let's hope Levi's is lit the way it was the last time we played Minnesota there. Chip off the old block. Any chances of the 49ers coming to the UK? Wembley would be good. All I know is, in me trying to see all the stadiums in the NFL, when the Niners play next in Wembley, I am going to do my damnedest to be there. Do my damnedest. Ellis, Rob, the flag in my image is the flag I fly on every Pismo Beach camping trip. Let's go. That is a gorgeous Niner American flag. If I can see that little icon correctly, let me maximize my screen. Yes, indeed. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous, Ellis. I love it. All right, still rolling here. We got Rodrigo coming in with the donation. Rodrigo, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Malone Sports saying, Rob, do you think they can? I think they can. Yes, we can. Mr. Nobody, Niners must go 5 for 7 the rest of the season to ensure the playoffs. I think they'll do it. 7 games remaining. Did I say 8 early on this broadcast? I probably did. Sometimes I get excited and I get wires crossed. I agree with that. They can only drop 2 remaining games to be realistically in this thing. It could shake out anyway. You never know in the NFL. It really could go any direction. But I think you're right. 2 wins. Rodrigo with another donation. Thank you. I'm going to find, yes, right there. Sharp picture. What kind of camera are you using? A7C, sir. A7C. Thank you for the donation. If you want any further information about it, hit me on Twitter. Follow me at the left shoe and shoot me a DM, dude. I'm happy to provide anybody with details about any equipment that I have here in the little studio I created. I did a lot of research in pulling the trigger on some stuff, and I'm happy to share that information with anybody who's curious. All right, here was the question from Malone. Rob, do you think the Niners can get to 10 wins? Yes. The path there is clear in my book. It is clear. Let me run through the games remaining on the schedule here. Just beat the pants off the Jacksonville Jaguars. We go home for the Vikings, November 28th. At Seattle, December 5th. At Cincinnati, December 12th. Falcons at home, December 19th. On the road, short week at Tennessee, December 23rd. Texans, January 2nd, at home. Then at LA, January 9th. There are plenty of winnable games that remain in there. And the 49ers, it would appear, can lose 2. Definitely can lose 2 to get to 10 wins. I'm not going to say which of those will be wins or losses at this moment. I'll go through and do another prediction on that. Right now, I'm with Harold. It's 1 game at a time. 1 game at a time. Playoffs started today for the 49ers. Each game is important. 1 game at a time. Go Niners. Yes. Karthik, you can call it Heightstown where I live, but my school is in Robbinsville. So people get really confused. They're just talking back and where people are living. I love it. Where you at? Where are you coming in from? Jimmy's accuracy is off the charts. Yes, indeed. Gerson points out, Rob, 44 carries last week, 42 today. Common. That is how you get it done, Shanahan. I'm thinking that was come on. That's how you get it done, Shanahan. Where was this at the beginning of the year? They hadn't found that identity, but now they have. Can they keep it? Nick says, got the running game back, and we start winning again. We need to just keep it going against the Vikings next week. Keep the momentum. Keep it going. Jersey loves the Niners. Yes, Harold shouting out 49er fans worldwide. Worldwide. Yes, indeed. Ooh, Nick pointing out the Skittles thing when Bowman went off injured. That did it for me when it comes to Seattle. Nick, I was at that game. I didn't see that happen because I wasn't watching the broadcast. I was at the 50-yard line, couldn't see the tunnel he went into. But yes, I was getting peanuts thrown at the back of my head in that game. And I was sitting in the nice seats with the rich folks. They certainly were not acting proper as they should have been. We got the curse of Gore in the house with the donation. Let's just keep telling Jimmy he's going to lose his job, and he'll keep balling. Little sus on the juice throw, though. Go Niners from Hawaii. Coming in from Hawaii, the curse of Gore. I got Gore's jersey sitting right here to my left. Frank is the inconvenient truth. Is he not faithful? Is he not? Steve O Supremo. If he's a game manager, let's not call him a QB and call him a regional manager. LOL. Gerson loving the Niner mug. Me too. It's my favorite. It really is. Karthik coming in talking to me. I just wish Trey had more time on the field end of the third quarter. Maybe could have started him at the start of the fourth. Looking back, you could say that pretty definitively. But I get the more conservative approach of leaving Jimmy in, allowing him to complete a couple more passes, and making sure you lock that one up. That really is important. Really important. Yes, indeed. Curtis, I think a first-timer. Curtis McLeod. Rob, love the quality of your cam. It looks like 4K, high def. Boom. It's that A7C, baby. Royal Simons coming in. Keep up work, 49ers. Niner for life. Let's go, 49ers. Indeed. Indeed. Yes, 49ers are 500 with the stretch of 7 games to go. I don't know why I said 8 earlier in the freaking thing. And nobody called me out. No one was like, excuse me, Rob, there are only 7 games remaining. Or maybe I didn't say it. Maybe I'm imagining it now. Deebo Samuel fan. After watching Trey Sermon play, he definitely should be on the field, especially on third down. Would be a great receiving back. That throw to Sermon, thank you for calling that out. What a touch pass. Just a little lollipop lob out to Sermon. Beautiful spiral, beautiful touch. That was a wow pass. He then had to throw it away on the next one, but that was at the end of the half, critical in getting us that field goal. And how about Robbie Gould? Solid after coming back. Solid. Dizza, that's been our identity since Gore. Since Gore. The run game has been our identity, maybe? Ellis 10. I have always been on board with the Niners making the playoffs. But if they get a strong win versus the Vikings, I will be 100% confident. People's confidence is going to go through the roof for sure. Chester, it was a great play call to throw the Sermon. Unexpected. Caught me off guard, didn't it? Yes, indeed. Karthik loving the backdrop. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Steve O Supremo, do I think Gore wins his fight? No question. Gore wins whatever he wants to because Gore is a badass. Peachy Brown coming in. What's up, Peachy? How you doing? What's going on, faithful? Glad you joined the chat. Chester Gray, Vikings game will have a playoff atmosphere. Glad to have it to keep the team focused. No trap game here. This is intense. This is playoff atmosphere intense. Ellis pointing out, Rob Shue, I'm seeing less and less Jimmy G haters. There are fewer of those haters around at the moment. Gerson on board with me with that observation. Gold has been money since his return. Solid Robbie Gold. Robbie Solid Gold? That's what I'm going with. Sean, I think next week there will be more play action, big play opportunity. Simmer, maybe Sermon, is not going to allow the running game to dominate on first and second down. He has an ulcer. Oh, Simmer might be, Zimmer. Zimmer's not going to allow the running game to dominate on first and second down. He has an ulcer by 29 from the 2019 division game. We'll need some magic. It's going to be a tough one, 49er faithful. We will need to come out firing. Karthik. Jimmy was great with his loft passes while under pressure. Where was Josh Allen? Wait, what? Josh Allen got some hits on him. Jimmy's uniform was not clean, that's for sure. He took some shots. But I think Jimmy kind of enjoys a game like that where he gets to show a little bit of the inner linebacker that he used to play. You know, a little bit of that toughness, a little bit of grit, a little bit of the fact that he's not a pretty boy, even though everyone has labeled him as such. Steve Ospremo, Vikes were a half inch from losing if that INT wasn't overturned. I didn't see it. I was on here, but that's a heartbreaker. That would have been a big one to break the 49ers' way. Oh, well, guess we just got to beat them next week. Deebo Samuel, fam. Thing with Jimmy is that he actually looks confident in the pocket, so maybe teams can't stack the box since Jimmy has improved. Trending up, ladies and gentlemen, trending up. Deebo Samuel fan wants to point out, I'm a Lance supporter, but not a Jimmy G hater. That's what I appreciate most. Are the people, even if they're supportive of one, that there's not a need to pile on the other. It's okay to be realistic and critical of a player's abilities and their results on the field. But when you've crossed the line into being a hater of a player that's on your team, that's a strange dynamic for me. It's not one that I ever really find myself, not one that I can remember ever finding myself in. If they're on the 49ers, I back them 1,000%. If they're on the field, I back them 1,000%. Always wishing the best for Jimmy G, even though I believe Lance is the future. Right now, though, certainly not making any type of transition. Jimmy is playing. Richard Jeeves, why don't you show more highlights? That's a great question, Richard. I need to develop that. I need to figure out how to implement that into my game. It's how I can improve and get highlights onto the channel. I probably wouldn't have them in a celebration like this right now, but I can do a later Sunday review or on the Monday show. I like the feedback, Richard, and I am going to attempt to get it in there. If you want to see more, come back and watch the show another time. Let's see if I can work that in there. Let's see if my old butt can figure out how to put video into the stream. It's not that hard, but Gerson, enjoying watching the Cowboys gets their arse kicked. Indeed. Kick that ass. George U, with the donation, time to move number 19 to quarterback, defensive back, and linebacker. The man just balls out, doesn't he? Doesn't he? And then the follow-up, what you got on my 40, homie? The Deebo acknowledgement. The Deebo love is alive and well, 49er faithful. Alive and well. Sean pointing out Mac is an unheralded hero on this O-line. The Mac hatred early in the season as he was getting his feet wet in the offense again was alive and well. And it has quieted, but it's not turned to recognition of the contributions that Mac has made on the field. That is where the faithful need to push it. You got to change the narrative. If the man is playing well, the faithful have to show out and support. Ellis, I love the autofocus when you put your SF mug up. Me too. I can't get enough of it. I probably do it more than I should. Some people are probably annoyed by it and just like, come on, really? Again? You can cheers us again? But I freaking love it. I love it. Every time it gets me. Every time. Adam Power. I'm in Mississippi. Mississippi. That is something that will always come to mind when I read the word Mississippi. That's how I became a Niners fan close to where Jerry is from. Jerry Rice starting it all for me. The GOAT. Jerry is the GOAT. Yes, my 98 jersey that I've had since Christmas 98 when my brother gave me this jersey. I can't tell you how many 49ers games this one has been to. This is basically my standard game day jersey. Every now and then I'll change it up. I don't wear this one if it's going to be crappy weather because Jerry wouldn't tolerate that. He likes it clean. There's too much value and sentimental value to this for me. Probably not actual value. This, again, $64K starting price, but I'm not accepting offers at this time. Leo with the super chat. Rob, who's our biggest regular season challenge if we can keep playing at this level? Right now, I got to point to next week as the biggest challenge on the horizon. The Vikings, to me, coming off of that win against Green Bay, coming into San Francisco, that's the biggest challenge ahead for the 49ers right now because it's so important to win and keep the momentum. A loss would be devastating to my confidence, to the confidence of this team. It would create a very challenging stretch the remainder of the season. So for me right now, it may not be the hardest game remaining on the schedule because you do have a Cincinnati team that has a fairly capable offense, fairly capable of putting up some points and some yards. A Tennessee team that if Derrick Henry is back, that's a big if. If Derrick Henry is back, that's a very different team, and that's a very different game. That could be a tough one. And the Rams, very dependent upon whether they're starting players. If Arizona loses to Seattle today, or if they lose a few on the way to that matchup, then you could see the Rams sitting in a first seed and being able to rest some starters and not wanting to get embarrassed or dejected again by the 49ers and therefore resting some people. You could also see them play everyone because they don't want to then match up against us in the playoffs at any point. Certainly, they must be a little fearful of the 49ers at this point. I would think so. Sean calling out, Armstead is much better in the center of the line as a defensive tackle with Jones. Run D has been better. He's got such great length. Those arms, that reach for Armstead, he can clog up a lot of the middle. He may not be as heavy as a DJ Jones, but if you can have the 330-pounder, 320-pounder in DJ Jones and keep Armstead next to him, I like that. I really do. Robert Pacheco, the whole team is playing together. We need to keep it up. Yes, we do. Emmanuel, 2 interceptions overturned and a missed field goal for Green Bay. Damn it, Packers. Damn it, Packers. Get it together. Can't you do us a favor? Damn. George U, Vikings, because possible playoff implications, and probably the Titans. Yep, in agreement there. Dizza Scraps, looking forward to seeing you and Grant break this down. Friday at 11. Well, the usual time is 11. Keep an eye on my Twitter feed at the left shoe. Sometimes we have to move it. Like this week, we had to bump it to 3 because the 49ers had their practice and then the presser immediately following during our typical time frame. So Grant had to drive down, be there for the practice, and then make it back in Bay Area Friday afternoon traffic. I'm guessing he was a little flustered from that drive. I know I would. I don't like sitting in traffic. Thank you for the donation, Dizza. Please tune in on Grant's channel. And then I do my live on my stream on my channel immediately following that 11 o'clock live with Grant. I look forward to seeing you all there. Melvin in the chat. I know it's a cliche, but I'm all for going with the hot hand. Jimmy G has got the hot hand. Also, I've said it over and over again. Norman's still damn good. He's got the most elite peanut punch in the league. The peanut punch. He's killing it with the peanut punch, isn't he? It is elite. Sean, Jimmy has looked a lot better when the pocket collapses. Takes a sack at the right time instead of a turnover. Yes, covering up the ball, Sean. He knows he needs to play great to keep his job, and no turnover is how to keep it. Confidence and accuracy. Amen to that. I believe he has earned the right to keep that spot, and I think a lot of the faithful are seeing it that way as well. Deebo Samuel fan, I think that everyone, even Jimmy lovers, would love to see Lance, but us Niners fans must accept that his time is not right now. It sure isn't with the way Jimmy is playing the last 3 to 4 weeks. Emmanuel, and of course, there's no need to hate a player in your team. I'm not a Jimmy hater, not at all. As long as Jimmy is in my team, he has all my support, but the future is Trey. Well said. Really well said. Curse of Gore, I don't like Norman. His poor tackling caused an injury. I hate seeing that no matter the team. Is that the injury for, oh goodness, the speedy return guy that hails from Guam? I did a little section on him. Wait, let me look. I don't like watching injuries. I don't know about you guys, but when they do the replays over and over again, I pick a spot on my wall and I watch that instead because I just don't like to see that, man. And we have this obsession with, just playing it over and over and over again. It seems so unhealthy to watch somebody's knee blow out multiple times. Jamal Agnew, is that the injury you're talking about, Curse of Gore? I think that's the play. All right. And Infamous on 3. Only player I haven't thrown support behind 100%. It's mainly the 49ers' fault, not his, is Alex Smith. I was mad at the 49ers for 3 years. I refused to watch because they picked him over Aaron Rodgers. Well, you didn't miss much in not tuning in for those first 3 years of Alex's career, except for the beauty of Gore, right? That was worth watching in and of itself, just to see Gore perform on a weekly basis. Yes. Gerson saying I should do the autofocus on the mug every 5 minutes. I'm glad to hear there's an appetite for the autofocus. Adam Power, I'm going to say Titans and Rams are going to be the 2 toughest games. Sean McVay has to be tired of hearing about Shanahan beating him every time they meet, assuming they don't sick guys week 18. Yes, he's got to be exhausted by that talk. It's embarrassing. Gojira Von Jinx, the Mac hatred lessens with more run blocking. He routinely gets bulldozed in pass blocking. The whole O-line is much better with 20 pass attempts versus 50. Amen to that. This offense is built to run and not built for that pass. They have got to keep that going. Sean, I think this team has dogs now. Indeed. Chester pointing out, Madden's got it right. On Madden, Armstead plays inside. He should never line up on the outside. I haven't noticed that. I haven't bought the new Madden. I have not. But they may have it right. Ellis, what if you did a post 5 for 5? 5 pros and 5 cons for each game, or 3 for 3. Either way, you are crushing it. Keep it coming. I love that. I will try to incorporate that, Ellis. I really will. I am going to take a screenshot of that idea right there. Boom. Infamous on 3. 49ers have been bad at Levi's. I can't say trash about my Niners after that win. Come on now, Infamous. Jagueo 56. What's up, Rob? Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. What's up, Rob? How are you doing with 2 straight games with long drives? Do you think Shanahan has found his groove? Defense played great. Also, first, let me say, if I mispronounced your name, please let me know. I apologize if I did. I'm victim to it myself, and sometimes I have been told how to say it, and then I forget, and I apologize if that's the case. It's never my intention. I'm doing well, fired up by that win. Could not be more positive about the 49ers at this point, and I can really use that. Again, have some other things going on that I'm not going to concern you guys with, but can use the 49ers pick me up. Have been feeding on that. The long drives at the start of the game are tone setters. Tone setters. Yes, I think Shanahan has found his groove. Stella got his groove back. Now he just needs to keep it. The defense has been on point. D'Amico Ryans has got that unit fired up. Maybe not D'Amico Ryans. It could be the players-only meeting that occurred that has that unit fired up. The leaders that needed to step up to this point in the season are showing that they're stepping up. Deebo Samuel fan. Vikings game is giving me 2020 Bulls vibes. Hopefully we don't get blown out this time. 2020 Bulls vibes? The Bulls? Wait a minute. I'm not sure I'm following. Sean saying hardest game will be the Titans. Thursday night football, little rest, and we have to travel to Tennessee. And it's around Christmas, so players are distracted. Nick, we really can't afford to lose next week. Rather have the results in our own hands than rely on the Vikings losing future games. Yeah, they're an inconsistent team, but I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to rely on anybody losing game. I would rather control our destiny. Control that destiny. Absolutely. Eric pointing out, if you like the way this game went, share the love and remember to hit the like button. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Chester, we do so well on the road because I think our fans show up harder than they do at home. I've been to road games and our fans are turned up. Here's to those that came out on the road today. Yes, indeed. I had to go to the second mug. I mean, I still got, here we go. We have poured water back into the Niner mug. Get that victory chalice out of here. Get the Niner mug back. The water is back into the Niner mug. George U, teamwork, schmeamwork. That's my bike, punk. Just kidding. But it's so true that Deebo Samuel is a one-man wrecking crew for this team. NFL MVP. You heard it here first. I don't care who's talking about anybody else. Deebo Samuel. The 49ers go on an epic run. If we can look back at this as a magical season, who else would deserve more credit for their team getting into the dance than Deebo frickin' Samuel? The man has been snatching chains and souls right along with them. Wayne Breezy in the house. What's up, Wayne? Good to see you. Thank you. Great job, fam, Wayne says. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming into the chat. Adam Power, that Jerry Rice jersey got a donation, bro. Hey, it's the old 98. It's the old 98. Got it in here. Again, shout out to my brother. Christmas of 98. This was my favorite present. It has been to a hell of a lot of games since then. A lot of games at Candlestick Park. A lot of these games on the road that you see behind me. A lot of playoff games. I haven't missed a single playoff game since sometime in the 80s. Sometime in the 80s. Ooh, all right. Yehudi? Please let me know how the best pronunciation, because I don't know. The DJ, I know that will then become, one sound, and I want to say more of a Y sound, but I could be completely off on that. Please let me know. Our corners got some real tests coming up. Yeah, man, Justin Jefferson, who's the other dude on the other side there that I'm blanking on? I have him in my fan. Adam Thielen. Those two together, that's a tough matchup for this secondary. And Dalvin Cook coming out of the backfield. And don't sleep on Madison either. Their second string running back, also a very talented back. This is going to be a very big test for the 49ers defense. And it will be about, to me, containing the run, making sure that Dalvin Cook does not have himself a Jonathan Taylor type of day. Obviously, he can't have anything close to a Jonathan Taylor type of day. You really must contain him, and then from there, get after Kirk Cousins. From there, get after Kurt, make him uncomfortable. 49ers, Lakers for life. That's an odd pairing, but I'm sure it works for you. That's a lot of championships. What up, fam? How you doing? Paul, coming in. If the 49ers beat the Vikings, I think they will have enough momentum and end up making the playoffs. If they lose this game, I could see them ending up 9-8 with also losing to the Titans and Rams. I think that's fair. That's a realistic picture, I would say. Very realistic. I think they've got a damn fine chance at beating the Vikings this week. That's for sure. Yes, indeed. Chester calling out it was painful, those first 5 Alex Smith seasons. Hey, it's been painful a lot over the last 20 years, hasn't it? But not anymore so far. Not right now. Not right now it's not painful. Not where we're at. George U, the long opening drive gasses opposing defenses, which also seems to make them increasingly frustrated. Each third down is like an anvil dropping on their morale. It takes their heart. It embarrasses them to the point where they're making the bonehead play, getting into it with Jawan Jennings, throwing a punch, getting tossed from the game. We'll take that. We will absolutely take that. Oh, Deebo pointing out that it was the Bills vibes. Hey, just got to come out firing. Paul, let's go Niners. We need this next game really bad, like we have the last 2 weeks. Love the content as always, Rob. Thank you very much. Thank you. Chester is putting... Yeah, that makes more sense. Eric is inside because Chester's moving him inside in Madden, and that's how it should be. As it should be. Royal Simmons, keep it up, 49ers. Keep it up. Hey, Emmanuel saying we need to extend DJ Jones. A shout out to DJ Jones, the big man with the DJ Jones Big Dave barbecue sauce, the unofficial sponsor. I reached out to Big Dave and I let him know that I pumped this on the channel because the proceeds, at least a portion of the proceeds, go to charity. And Big Dave seems like a hell of a guy, a hell of a story, and some phenomenal barbecue sauce. Uh-oh. Jan coming in. Colt McCoy, 14. Russ, 3. Colt McCoy with the MVP season filling in for Kyler Murray. Just not last week. All right, Ronald Williams with the update. We are number 8, but we're tied with the 6th and 7th seed. Appreciate that update. Appreciate it a lot. We got a little clarity on that earlier, that it has something to do with the tiebreakers that come into play that put the Saints ahead at the moment, and the Vikings as well. But it doesn't matter because we play the Vikings next. Adam Power. D'Amico Ryans has been way better lately, but it's easier to call defenses when the offense dominates the time of possession and defense can stay fresh. 100%. It's complementary football that the 49ers are playing. And that's what this team is built to do. When you have an elite rushing attack, it really does set up the defense to stay rested, to stay on the side. Now, these long drives are record-setting, and these, you can't imagine they continue at that pace. But the overall theory is sound, very sound. Ellis, we are 500. I didn't think I'd be happy about that before the season kickoff, but here we are. Yes, indeed. Dante wants to point out, we got to play Seattle 2. They beat us on 3 straight games. Don't forget, we still have Russell to play in his house. I will not forget, and I will be there for sure. For sure. All right, we're caught up in the comments. We've hit an hour, 45 minutes. I need to go get some rest, kick back from the channel. Thank you for joining today. I really appreciate all of the support. I appreciate you guys coming in and celebrating victories with me, coming here to the channel, having a good time, and really enjoying yourself. We are 500 Niner faithful. We are in control of our own destiny in making the playoffs. I don't know what more you could have asked for out of this one. The 49ers have a decisive victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, 30-10, with a chance to come back home and beat the Vikings to officially grab and never relinquish control over one of the remaining playoff spots. Here is to the hope that now lives within us, faithful. Here is to the hope we can safely feel again in this 2021 season. Cheers to all of you. Thank you for joining me yet again.